Good morning, happy Mother's Day, and welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Justine, Treasurer of the FirstU Board. It's good to be with you. If you are new to FirstU and would like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. Following our service at 11:30 a.m., please join us for our virtual hospitality hour. You may find the Zoom link on our website at firstunitarianottawa.ca in our weekly email newsletter, the EUU. During these times, it is more important than ever to sign up to receive the EUU, to check our Facebook page and our webpage for notices and updates. Thank you to everyone who participated in our special congregational meeting where we overwhelmingly voted to call Reverend Eric Meter as our new settled minister. Reverend Eric will officially be starting Monday, August 9th. Thank you as well to the settled minister search team, a job very well done. And another thank you to all who helped with Sunday's Zoom meeting, organizers and techies. The Canadian Unitarian Council National Conference, Sustaining Our Light, will take place virtually May 14th to 16th. The program includes a national intergenerational Sunday worship service next Sunday, May 16th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Please note that we will have a hospitality hour, but no FirstU Sunday service to encourage all to join the national service. Look to the EUU or CUC website for registration information and other details. Following the national service, Sunday, May 16th at 3:30 p.m., all are invited to consider a framework at FirstU to continue the work of reconciliation. For the Zoom link, go to the EUU or our website. A task force of the board has begun work on our next 5-year strategic plan. We hope to bring key objectives and initial actions to the AGM for congregational support. The board has affirmed the following key objectives to be achieved by the 2026-2027 congregational year: an energized spirituality, a renewed, growing, diverse congregation, a firm commitment to social and climate justice, a responsible, mission-oriented campus development, and reliable structures and resources to support congregational priorities and growth. Look for announcements regarding town hall meetings to discuss any motions and financials related to the AGM. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are a part of our spiritual community. And now, a special announcement from our intern minister, Ian Hill.
Greetings, my beloved Ottawa community. I pray this message reaches each of you and your families doing well. The reason for this message is to announce that the last month of my internship will be done remotely from my hometown in Florida. With all of the distressing news from around the world, as well as plain old homesickness, I've begun to feel the need to be closer to my family and certain supports from being home. Understandably, I imagine my early departure may cause a bit of sadness and/or anxiety for some of you. And I'd like to emphasize that I will still be your intern until June 23rd. Majority of my interactions with you all have been virtual up to this point. I sincerely doubt that anything will change with my return home, except I think I'll be a little happier and may be able to offer my ministries from a space of greater emotional wellness. It is my hope to depart from Canada no later than May 22nd, which is less than 1 month sooner than originally planned. Some good news about the early departure is that it provides me with more time to engage with you all, should you be interested. Most of my internship agreement will be complete before I leave in May. In early June, I'm planning to share my lessons learned in a Zoom session, after which I plan to stick around for an informal discussion for as long as people choose to stay. I'll also be offering one-on-one Zoom meetings to anyone who just wants to chat. To schedule time to talk, you can find my email and phone number in the weekly newsletter. I'll wrap up by saying that in spite of the pandemic's restrictions and the previously cold, icy months of winter, I've loved my time in Ottawa. Yes, I would have really loved to have met all of you in person, and I'm grateful to have been able to meet a few of you outdoors while going on walks whenever the restrictions and weather permitted. The little that I've seen in Canada has been beautiful, but my real treat has been engaging with all of you. I'm so glad that I've gotten to be your intern and that I got to come to Canada. I look forward to being with you virtually till mid-June. Bye for now. Take care. I love y'all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris, and I'm pleased to be your worship associate this morning. As Justine mentioned, please look to our Facebook page, website, and weekly EUU emails for information about all the happenings in our congregation. Some announcements to highlight. There's a new FirstU community Facebook group. Look to last Friday's EUU as well for the link and for information concerning Thursday's virtual discussion circle. Note as well that May 15th is the next deadline for submitting articles for our quarterly Spire newsletter. Please note that all month the Multi-Faith Housing Initiative is running a virtual Tulipathon fundraiser. Check out last Friday's EUU for our Team FirstU's donation page. Some announcements from the Environmental Action Group. This week, green your garden. Look for information regarding the Unitarian Go-Go's plant exchange in the EUU. The food challenge has come to an end. Thank you for your participation and persistence. If you still wish to send in your Week 10 comments, you may find the questions on the Climate Confrontation page on the website. Thank you to all those who sent in vegan recipes. Suzanne and Jen are creating a booklet. Look for future announcements. Bill C-12, Canada's Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act, has passed second reading and is on its way to committee. It is expected it will be strengthened before its return to the House of Commons. See more in the EUU. And don't miss this week's EnviroBits, where the question is asked, is climate protection a human right? The German Constitutional Court has ruled yes. And now please welcome our minister, the Reverend Patricia Guthman-Harash.
Thank you, Chris. Bonjour. Welcome, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. I'm Reverend Pat, and I welcome you into my home. For those of you who've seen me before, it's a little bit different place than my home. Have a few things from our travels, like that's Cartagena from when we lived in Colombia. Anyway, happy Mother's Day. I just love my mommy. She just turned 93 last Sunday. Saw her on Zoom in Minnesota. And I love my mommy, and I love being a mommy. And so I love celebrating Mother's Day. But I know it can be a tough day for many people for many reasons. So as we light the chalice today, I have a litany for Mother's Day. It's from a mass email, one of those mass emails that you get, and I made it into a litany. And so let's practice together, because a litany will be that I'll say something and then you repeat it. And so I'll say a line, and when I put my hands out to you, that means I want you to repeat it. So, blessed are the mothers of creation. And you would say, blessed are the mothers of creation. Even if you're alone by yourself watching this, right out loud, feel free to join me. So let's go. On this Mother's Day, we wish to remember all those who have given birth and aided in creation. All those who have aided in creation. Blessed are the mothers of creation. Blessed are the mothers of creation. Let us remember all the mothers who have stayed up into the night, walking around the house holding babies when they kept crying and wouldn't stop, or rocking sick toddlers in their arms. The mothers who read a favorite story twice a night for a year and then read it again when a little voice said, please just one more time. Blessed are the mothers. Blessed are the mothers. Let us remember all the mothers who carried their child so tenderly within their womb, only to lose them before or shortly after birth. The mothers who gave birth to babies they'll never see, and the mothers who took those babies and gave them homes, adoptive and foster mothers and stepmothers, and single mothers raising children on their own. Blessed are the mothers. Blessed are the mothers. Let us remember all those who have chosen or were chosen by circumstances beyond their control not to raise children, those who give of themselves in other ways to the greater circle of humanity, creation, and the future. Blessed are those who have given of themselves. Blessed are those who have given of themselves. Let us remember the mothers whose hearts ache each time they see their child disappear out the door on the first day of grade school, of college, and when their children finally leave home. Let us remember those mothers who feel guilty when they don't miss their children, and those who now may only visit their children at the graveside. Let us remember all the mothers who are learning how to let go. May they have strength. May they have strength. Let us remember all the mothers whose children have gone astray, who can't find the words to reach them, and the children who can't find the words to say to their mothers. The mothers and the children searching for ways to find forgiveness in their hearts after all these years. May they have peace. May they have peace. Let us remember all those who we called and thought of as mother, those still living and those no longer with us. Blessed are the mothers. Blessed are the mothers. In a poem for her mother, Unitarian May Sarton said, "And now her truth is given to me to live." Let us be thankful for all those who in one way or another have given us life. May it be so. Let us sing the Chalice Song.
Chalice, chalice, burning bright, help remind us with your light of how we'd like to live each day with love and truth helping lead the way.
Hi to everyone, it's Neo, your Director of Religious Exploration. I hope all of you are doing really well today. Today I'm sharing with you a story and it's titled, Mama, Do You Love Me? Mama, do you love me? Yes, I do, dear one. How much? I love you more than the raven loves his treasure, more than the dog loves his tail, more than the whale loves his spout. How long? I'll love you until the ummak flies into the darkness, till the stars turn to fish in the sky, and the puffin howls at the moon. Mama, what if I carried our eggs, our ptarmigan eggs, and I tried to be careful, and I tried to walk slowly, but I fell, and the eggs broke? Then I would be sorry, but still I would love you. What if I put salmon in your parka, ermine in your mittens, and lemmings in your mukluks? Then I would be angry. What if I threw water at our lamp? Then, dear one, I would be very angry, but still I would love you. What if I ran away? Then I would be worried. What if I stayed away and sang with the wolves and slept in a cave? Then, dear one, I would be very sad, but still I would love you. What if I turned into a muskox? Then I would be surprised. What if I turned into a walrus? Then I would be surprised and a little scared. What if I turned into a polar bear and I was the meanest bear you ever saw, and I had sharp, shiny teeth, and I chased you into your tent and you cried? Then I would be very surprised and very scared. But still, inside the bear, you would be, and I would love you. I will love you forever and for always, because you are my dear one. I hope everyone enjoyed that story. Wishing everyone a really wonderful Mother's Day, and hope everyone is doing well. Please check the EUU for RE lessons and for our UU Kids Zoom sessions. Take care.
Ancient mother, I hear you calling. Ancient mother, I hear your song. Ancient mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient mother, I taste your tears. Ancient mother, I hear you calling. Ancient mother, I hear your song. Ancient mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient mother, I taste your tears. Ancient mother, I hear you calling. Ancient mother, I hear your song. Ancient mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient mother, I taste your tears.
This is the time when we can send our earnest hopes or wishes, which some people call prayers, to the people who we care about. I invite you to think about your relationship with this community and how it can help you in the good times and the not so good. Think about your hopes and your hurts and how sharing them with like-minded people can make you feel. I encourage you to stay in contact with your friends. I know this COVID time has been very long, and hopefully people have been able to connect with the people they love and do so safely. Let us also lift up those who are persecuted for their beliefs, those who have experienced the ravages of war or the pain of bigotry, those whose lives and livelihoods have been uprooted by violent weather, those who are homeless or starving, while most of us live in relative abundance. And all who are lonely and in the need of company of friends, those who are imprisoned, those who mourn and are in need of comfort, those who are victims of violence, and all those who are suffering an illness of body, mind, or spirit. May they find comfort and healing in the days that lie ahead. Let us hold these people and all people in our hearts and minds. Now is the time in the service where we can share our personal joys and sorrows. We do this by placing stones in water and allowing the ripples to take our thoughts out to the universe so that people may either give you condolences or give you congratulations. There were no personal stones today, but I'll put in a couple of sort of general ones. One, of course, for the ongoing dealings with COVID. And certain places are having much more difficulty with COVID at this time than others. India is one, so I will place a thought for India. Alberta is struggling. And for anybody else who is dealing with COVID, either personally or through friends or acquaintances, we are thinking of you. I'm going to put a stone of joy for all the birds and flowers that are very busy these days. The birds are busy and even the flowers are busy because they're starting to come up. So hooray for spring. There's been a lot of rain, but that's good too. I will put one last stone for all the thoughts and prayers and joys and sorrows hidden in our hearts. Will you join me in a moment of silence?
There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. And the beauty that I saw in everything, the beauty in everything, yeah, was in her eyes. Oh, was in her eyes. I'm telling you, there were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. I never knew that my skin was too black, and I never knew that my nose was too flat, and I never knew that my clothes didn't fit, and I never knew there were things that I'd miss, 'cause the beauty in everything, oh, was in her eyes, was in her eyes. Oh, there were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. The world outside was a magical place. I only knew love and I didn't know hate. And the beauty that I saw in everything, the beauty in everything, yeah, was in her eyes, was in her eyes. Child, look deep into my eyes, and the child 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 look deep into my eyes, and the child.
When I volunteered to speak for this Mother's Day service, I wasn't exactly sure how I might approach the honoring of motherhood with you all. While it feels important to honor those magical beings that have used their bodies to cradle and escort new life into the world, I also knew that the blessing of motherhood is not exclusive to women born as female beings. I want to acknowledge that all genders have the ability to nurture and sustain life in motherly ways. I want to celebrate adopted mothers and community mothers as parents that are just as sacred as biological ones. We could not exist without our mothers, and it is important to me to honor the specialness of this day. Still, it is my prayer that all people find benefit in my words. As I sat in meditation preparing for this service, my Mama Nita came to mind. I saw a vision of her with me inside of the church. But before I say more about the vision I had, I first need to tell you a little bit about my great-grandmother. My Mama Nita lived to be 86 years old, and for most of her life, she served her congregation at Mount Zion African Methodist Episcopal Church, AME. She was an active choir member and an elder on the deaconess board. Some have said that even when my Mama Nita was a young woman, she was respected as a church elder. She was recognized by the powerful prayer she offered to the church. She was commonly asked to lead the call of worship on Sunday mornings, and week after week, my great-grandmother would call God into the service by leading the congregation in speaking words of devotion. I was told that her prayers had an unhurried yet urgent way about them. Prayers that were filled with the kind of deliberate pauses that demanded attention be paid to the matters she brought before God. Her devotions were indispensable to the Sunday service. If my Mama Nita was alive, I could easily imagine her leading a worship service with me. I love her so much, and I'm sure I could have convinced her to even do a virtual service with me. I can imagine her presence, seeing her come slowly to the screen, moving with mannerisms that require patience in the experience. I imagine hearing her hum her favorite hymn, A Charge to Keep I Have, written by Charles Wesley. It goes like, Then, with words that seemed to flow lazily from her lips, she'd offer an unscripted prayer spoken at the pace of God's time. I delighted in this vision for a short while until a thought came to mind. I wondered if my great-grandmother was alive to lead worship with me, would this church offer her a warm reception? In hospitality hour, for sure, but I wondered if there would be patience for my Mama Nita's purposefully drawn out way of devotional prayer. Would the act of such a definitive version of a Christian prayer be welcomed at all? Honestly, my wonder included a lot of worry because I feared that we would not. I feared that although we say we are committed to being intentionally multicultural, welcoming of diverse ways of being, welcoming of diverse spiritualities, I'm not sure if we actually display the kind of openness and patience it takes to embody such a statement. When I first arrived in fall of 2020, we revised our covenant and said we are, quote, aware that we won't always be of the same mind, and still we create an inclusive, welcoming, and safe space in which we value everyone's contributions and opinions. End quote. But even through the internet, I can sense anxiety when some speakers seem to go too long. As I say these very words, I feel myself worried about those who might think that this message goes too long. I haven't timed it. Many of y'all know that I come from a Baptist tradition where the first 10 minutes are often just a warm-up. And the same is true for my grandmother's AME church. I imagine that there are many traditions that don't confine their spiritual messages to specified times. Of course, understanding that there are moments when brevity is truly needed, it is my opinion that there must be a willingness to wait on the words of those whose voices we say we want to uplift and support. I believe we must be willing to restrain our urge to rush through someone else's message. I believe we must be willing to tame our anxieties about time. Now, I didn't come to lecture anyone about anything because I hope y'all know that is not my style. But it felt important to be honest about the things that I pray for in this community. I pray for greater patience here. And I want to be honest about other prayers as well. This prayer stemmed from a conversation with my very much alive, blessed, and highly favored biological mother and close friend. Like my great-grandmother, my mom is an old school Christian woman. The kind of woman that seems to have a direct line of communication to Jesus Christ himself. And she ain't afraid to call on him to ask that he fulfill the promises of peace and abundance on behalf of someone else. She genuinely cares for everyone she encounters and is known to offer a blessing of a prayer to a stranger in the middle of Walmart right then and there. If her spirit moves her to do so, she can be so spiritually spontaneous in this way. She can be doing one thing and then be suddenly led by the Spirit to pray or do something else, and at the end have a testimony of God using her to bless someone she'd never met before that moment. I've witnessed my mom in mystical awe at this during certain times. She can seemingly at random share a message or give a gift that was far beyond the realm of someone's coincidental need. My mother has been an earthly angel in this way. Any place she visits would be blessed to have her in their midst. I wondered if my mother's spontaneous blessings could be received here. I wondered if this community was spacious enough to welcome her unplanned, spiritually instinctive messages. Again, my wonder included some worry because I feared we might not. I feared that we may be so comfortable with our perfectly planned liturgies and agendas that we don't leave room for Spirit to show up. I worried that our gatherings may be so structured that we miss possible impromptu experiences of earthly angels sent by the Most High. I don't know about anyone else's relationship with the divine, but the goddess I know tends to just show up sometimes. I can never seem to plan for her spirit to arrive on cue. So what I'm learning to do is just leave a little room for her. Spaciousness is my form of welcome and also the prayer that I have for this church. My prayer is that we allow for space in our times together as an invitation for Spirit to show up, no matter what other events we may have planned. To me, this is what it means to welcome, quote, diverse spiritual paths and foster our own and other spiritual growth. The last prayer I like to offer is one that emerged from the Mother Spirit inside of me. The nurturing, protective voice that speaks from the womb of my being. Now, to be clear, I'm not referring to the body part designed to carry children. I'm speaking of the center of my being, the place in each of us that holds and nurtures our inner child. Like an umbilical cord, it connects our life force to our ancestral mothers. It connects us to spirits as benevolently maternal as Mama Earth herself. It is her voice that speaks from my womb. A voice that is strong yet never rises above a whisper. Perhaps you've heard of her too. The rippling murmur of fierce protector, sacred intuition trying its damnedest to guard us from danger and harm. She is the one that looks for signs to know if places are safe, if people can be trusted. It has been her guidance that has kept my Black, queer, gender fluid, female-born body safe for almost 38 years. I turned 38 May 29th. And I am eternally grateful for her. And yet, in this meditation, in the meditation that I sat in for these words, I wondered if I really listened to my inner mother, listened to her cries for my safety in this community and denomination as a whole. My wonder quickly turned to worry because I knew that I had not. While overall, I have loved and deeply cherished my time spent with both FirstU and UUFO. There have been times when I've been hurt by injustices. I've experienced racist and gender-based microaggressions, treatment of othering and tokenization, all of which has troubled the mother inside of me. Some of you may have heard me speak of this while facilitating my workshops, No More Hierarchy. It was the voice of my inner mother that called me to question the integrity of this place, the promise to honor our church covenants beyond the walls and over the internet. We say we, quote, strive to challenge oppression and discrimination in all its forms, but do we speak up when we witness harms, regardless of how unintentional or how uncomfortable it might be for you? Folks crave that we see more Black, Indigenous, people of color in our community, but that craving does not come off as an expression of inclusion and equity. It has felt and sounded like a desire to appear to be multicultural and diverse. It has sounded like a desire that we prove that we are anti-racist and anti-oppressive instead of just being it. Maybe, like my great-grandmother, this congregation just needs a little more time. So, in honoring my commitment to this community, I have prayed for my own patience as this church gets better at welcoming folks that are culturally different from majority of its members. Maybe, like my mother, some members just need a little more space for their spirits to be touched by the divine. So, in honoring our shared commitment to this community, I have prayed that hearts and minds be expanded to make room for the spontaneity of spirit. While it is true that I don't really know all that this congregation might need in order for it to live more fully into our covenant with each other, it is all I can do to pray that my inner mother, the spirit that has worried for my safety in this congregation, be comforted by the efforts of some folks who really are doing the work to dismantle white supremacy in this place and in the greater world community. All I can do is pray to my Mama God, the source that gave birth to all of humanity, the mother that connects all beings as siblings, that she grant the children of this community patience and freedom from the anxiety of the unknown, spacious hearts and the willingness to make room for spiritual spontaneity and trustworthiness, that we live in integrity with our words for our congregational covenant, and that we be willing to be imperfect, knowing that mistakes happen. May we learn from our errors and always be willing to meet people where they are on their spiritual journey. Lastly, I pray that Mama God bless this place with all it needs to continue building the beloved community we dream ourselves to be. These are the Mother's Day meditations of my heart, a message inspired by the Divine Mother in all of us. Thank you. I love y'all.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
This is the time in our service that we usually accept the offering. To find out how to keep up your pledge or make a donation, you can contact our finance manager or visit the FirstU website. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another.
Before we extinguish the chalice, some more mama-inspired wisdom. This it comes in part from a poem called What I Learned from My Mother, from Julia Kasdorf. I learned from my mother to love the living, to have plenty of vases on hand in case you have to rush to the hospital, with peonies cut from the lawn, black ants still stuck on the buds. I learned to save jars large enough to hold fruit salad for a whole grieving household, to cube home-canned pears and peaches. I learned to attend viewings even if I didn't know the deceased, to press the moist hand to the living, to look in their eyes and offer sympathy, as though I understood loss even then. I learned that whatever we say means nothing. What anyone will remember is that we came. I learned to believe I had the power to ease awful pains materially like an angel. Like a doctor, I learned to create from another's suffering my own usefulness. And once you know how to do this, you can never refuse. To every house you enter, you must offer healing, a chocolate cake you baked yourself, the blessing of your voice, your chaste touch. This poem makes me think of my mama. And may it remind you of those who have brought you wisdom and nurturing into your own life. Let us sing, Spirit of Life. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love, and may all be well for you and yours on this Mother's Day. May it be so.
There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. And the beauty that I saw in everything, the beauty in everything, yeah, was in her eyes. Oh, was in her eyes. I'm telling you, there were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. I never knew that my skin was too black, and I never knew that my nose was too flat, and I never knew that my clothes didn't fit, and I never knew there were things that I'd miss, 'cause the beauty in everything, oh, was in her eyes, was in her eyes. Oh, there were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. There were no mirrors in my Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. The world outside was a magical place. I only knew love and I didn't know hate. And the beauty that I saw in everything, the beauty in everything, yeah, was in her eyes, was in her eyes. Child, look deep into my eyes, the 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 child. Nana's house, no mirrors in my Nana's house. The world outside was a magical place. I only knew love and I didn't know hate. And the beauty that I saw in everything, the beauty in everything, yeah, was in her eyes and the child tears, into my eyes and the child tears, into my eyes and the child